Every one of us has the same questions. Why are we here? How did we get here initially? Did someone put us here? Is there a purpose to life? These are called the existential questions. And everyone in the world just naturally thinks about them. Today, we live in times where even our scientific findings point clearly to there being a greater superior intellect who has fine-tuned the constants of our world just right so that we can live. Now come all the world's religions, and they present their belief in who this greater intellect is and what his intent is. It's like a business show. There are sellers, there are buyers. The sellers come in, they set up their booths, and the buyers come by the hundreds, by the thousands. They go around. What do you have to sell me? It's the same thing with the existential questions. Everyone in the world is looking for the answers. They go around to all the religions of the world, and every major world religion has a booth. They all have a world platform to present their answers. You want to find out their answer, just Google it. In 2-3 minutes, you'll be able to find out what they believe. But there's one key world religion that doesn't yet have a booth. It's certainly a key religion because over 50% of all the religious people in the entire world attribute their roots to this religion. Yet on the world level today, even with Google and YouTube, it remains the most obscure and least understood of any of the world's religions. It is traditional Orthodox religious Judaism. That's why we're here. Hidabroot is now setting the foundations for an English-speaking branch called the Jewish Whys. Its goal to explain to anyone who's interested why religious Jews do what they do and what they actually believe. So the first step is to dispel any non-truths about what Judaism believes. When you search on YouTube for Judaism, what you find is that one of the main world sources for gaining a knowledge on the Jewish religion is a 17-minute class given by Keith Hughes. But unfortunately, Keith has imparted much false information that you will easily be able to see for yourselves.
When Moses was leading his people according to the Old Testament in the Sinai Peninsula, there's Mount Sinai, and Moses decided to go up and pray and such, and he finds these 2 huge tablets. And they're very important because they're going to make the formation of the 10 Commandments.
Now that is nowhere near the description that it says in the Jewish Torah. Just read it for yourself. And God descended upon Mount Sinai to the top of the mountain. And God summoned Moses to the top of the mountain. And the entire people saw the voices and the flames. God said to Moses, "Ascend to me to the mountain and remain there, and I shall give you the stone tablets." Moses didn't just go up to Mount Sinai to pray and all of a sudden discovered 2 huge tablets. They were directly God-given, along with the revelation to the eyes of millions of people.
So we can see the first one is, I'm a jealous God, no other gods before me. That's number 1. You don't pray to any other gods. Number 2 is no graven imagery. There should be no representation of any idols that anybody's praying to, any type of symbols or anything like that.
You shall not have other gods is not the first commandment. There's another one before that. And not to make graven images is just a detail of the second commandment. The real first commandment is, "I am the Lord, your God, who has taken you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage." What God is saying is, I am that one. I am the superior intellect who created everything. And you know why? Because I care about you. So I created everything in the world because I want to have a relationship with you. So the first commandment is to know who God is and know that the reason He created the world is to have a close and mutual relationship with us.
That's the first thing God says to Abraham. It's a covenant. It's a deal that if you listen to me, if you follow my rules, if you pray to me and worship me and honor me, then I'm going to give you really great land, and your descendants are going to rule over that great land. That's the deal. You do what I say. I give you this land, which is going to be Canaan, which eventually we're going to call Israel, which people also refer to as ancient Palestine. And that is at the root of Judaism. It's a covenant. It's a deal.
No, Keith. Wrong again. Although there's a covenant, it's not a deal. It's not a deal between God and the humans. If you do what I want, I'll give you what you want. God is not a taker. It's just the opposite. It's all about giving. God wants to have a mutual relationship with us. And a relationship can only exist when there's giving. Just like 2 people who marry. One spouse gives to the other, ideally, because they really care about the other. So God says, I want to have a mutual 2-way relationship with you. But there's a problem. Two-way means that God has to give to us and we have to give to God. So God can give to us, that's not a problem. But how can we give to God? He has everything. So what God does is He gives us commandments. And He says, when you do the commandments, you're going to be giving to me. Even though the purpose of our doing the commandments is really for our own benefit. Just like a father who tells his son, I want you to go to school, which is really just for the son's own benefit in the future. So too, our keeping of the commandments is really just for our own benefit in the future. Nonetheless, that's the way we give to God, by doing what He's asked for. So God can continue to give to us, and we can continue to give to God, and we can continue always building the relationship to become closer and closer and closer. Once you can dispel the non-truths about what Judaism believes, and once you can acquire the authentic answers to the existential questions according to the Jewish religion, you then hold the most precious gift known to mankind. You will become a carrier of the answers to all those questions that have been so desperately sought after throughout all the generations by everyone in the entire world.